Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to be rebuilding the Montreal Canadiens using the wheel. We are going to spin the wheel every single season until we win a Stanley Cup in NHL 23. Now we have the Montreal Canadiens here. We obviously know their roster is not the greatest. They are currently going through a rebuild in real life. I mean, they did make the Stanley Cup Finals in 2021, but ever since then, they have fallen off a cliff. So basically, after every season that we do not win the Stanley Cup, we are going to spin the wheel, see what we get, good or bad. And we are either going to add or subtract that from the Montreal Canadiens. Now, they do have some good players like Kirby Dach, Nick Suzuki, obviously their captain, Cole Caulfield, he's an 86. He's going to be a great goal scorer. Jonathan Drouin is not there in real life, but he's still here in NHL 23. But overall, the rest of their roster, it's not very deep. It's not very loaded whatsoever. So we are definitely going to work on that. Defensively, they are hurting pretty bad defensively. They definitely need a #1 D-man, in my opinion. I mean, Caden Gooley is going to be good. Matheson's not bad. Savard, not great. And obviously, they do not have Carey Price anymore, so their goalie situation is not the greatest either. So we definitely have a lot of rebuilding to do here. So let's simulate and see how long it takes us to win a Stanley Cup. If you guys do enjoy videos like this, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are almost at 10K subscribers. Want to help us get there? All right, now let's get into the video. So the Montreal Canadiens are obviously not going to be very good. They would end up finishing 5th in the Atlantic, going 41, 33, and 8. Carolina is going to end up finishing 1st in the NHL, going 54, 23, and 5, followed by the New York Rangers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the New Jersey Devils, the Pittsburgh Penguins. Colorado was up there. At the bottom of the NHL, we have the Arizona Coyotes, the Calgary Flames, and the Chicago Blackhawks. The Montreal Canadiens would end up finishing 16th in the entire NHL, but the Anaheim Ducks and the Dallas Stars were both in worse divisions, so they're going to end up making the playoffs, finishing 17th and 21st in the NHL. Cole Caulfield is going to lead our team in points with 71. He also had 31 goals, followed by Nick Suzuki, 70, Gurianov at 63, Kirby Dach, 59, Dvorak, 57, Jonathan Drouin had 56. For the entire NHL, Sidney Crosby is going to have the most points at 108, followed by Jack Hughes is 106, Elias Pettersson had 103, Connor McDavid 101, Nathan MacKinnon 101, Malkin 97, Kucherov and Draisaitl had 94, and Philip Forsberg had 92. For goals, Matthews is going to have the most at 57, followed by McDavid 55, Kucherov at 51, Ovi 51, McKinnon 51. Jeff Skinner is going to make a comeback and have 46 goals, Patrick Kane 43, and Sidney Crosby 42. And the Colorado Avalanche are going to go on and win the Stanley Cup as they beat the Rangers in 6 games in the Stanley Cup Final. For the playoffs, Patrick Kane is going to tie for the most goals at 13 with Mika Zibanejad, and he had the most points at 25. Redman would also have 25, Zibanejad 24, Adam Fox 23, the GOAT Nathan MacKinnon had 20. Barzell was up there, Mikko Rantanen, Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, the Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy, while Austin Matthews is going to win the Maurice Richard. Adam Fox is going to win the Norris. Jack Hughes is going to take home the Lady Byng. The Conn Smythe, obviously, to the GOAT. Freddie Anderson is going to win the Vezina. And Sidney Crosby is going to take home the Selke. All right, let's see what we get here. And we are going to be adding a #1 overall pick to the Montreal Canadiens. So the #1 overall pick that I'm going to be adding to Montreal is going to be none other than Jack Hughes at a 90 overall. He has a lot of chemistry with Cole Caulfield. I believe they played together in the United States National Program, whatever the hell it's called, the U.S. Developmental League or whatever it is. So they are going to work well together, and we have Nick Suzuki as our second-line center at an 87. At the end of year #2, somehow the Montreal Canadiens are actually going to do worse this season, finishing 6th in the Atlantic, going 36, 40, and 6. Oh my god, what happened? We added Jack Hughes to the team and we got worse somehow. The Colorado Avalanche are going to end up finishing 1st in the NHL, going 53, 23, and 6, followed by the Carolina Hurricanes, the New York Islanders, the Nashville Predators, and the Pittsburgh Penguins. At the bottom of the NHL, we have the Anaheim Ducks, the Dallas Stars, and the Chicago Blackhawks. The Montreal Canadiens were not far behind. I literally have no idea how we got worse after adding a 90 overall top-line centerman in Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes is going to lead our team in points with 91. He would also have 28 goals, followed by Cole Caulfield's 58. 58? Oh my god. There is a huge gap between Jack Hughes and Cole Caulfield. Nick Suzuki had 57, Josh Anderson 55, Dvorak 53, Kirby Dach 53, Drouin 47, minus 28, minus 16, minus 18. Yeah, we are a long way off from a Stanley Cup, or at least contending for a Stanley Cup. For the entire NHL, Leon Draisaitl is going going to have the most points at 117. Actually, him and McDavid would each tie at 117, followed by Johnny Hockey's 98, Nathan MacKinnon 94, Matthews had 93, Ovi 93, Pasta 92, Rantanen 92, and Jack Hughes 91. For goals, Matthews is yet again going to have the most at 53, followed by Draisaitl's 52, Ovi 50, Patrick Kane had 49, McDavid 48, McKinnon 47, Forsberg 46, Pasta had 45, and Patrick Laine would have 44. After losing last season in the Stanley Cup final, the New York Rangers are going to get their revenge as they beat the Minnesota Wild in 6 games in the Stanley Cup final this season. Adam Fox is going to lead the entire playoffs in points with 30. The dude is only going to have 1 goal but 29 assists, followed by Breadman's 29, Boldy had 25, Patrick Kane 25, Zibanejad 25, Tarasenko 24. For goals, Breadman is going to have the most at 13. Can you imagine Artemi Panarin actually leading the playoffs in goals? This dude is one of the biggest playoff droppers in the entire NHL. Leon Draisaitl is going to take on the Ted Lindsay, the Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy, while yet again Matthews is going to win the Maurice Richard. Adam Fox back-to-back Norrises. Johnny Hockey is going to win the Lady Byng. The Conn Smythe is also going to go to Adam Fox. Tristan Jarry is going to win the Vezina, and Bo Horvat is going to take home the Selke. All right, here we go, yet again spinning the wheel. Ooh, we got a juicy one here, boys. We are going to be adding the great one, Wayne Gretzky, to the Montreal Canadiens. All right, so we have added Wayne Gretzky to the Montreal Canadiens. He's obviously a 99 overall. Why wouldn't he be? And now we have an absolutely stacked first line with Jack Hughes, Wayne Gretzky, and Cole Caulfield. We also have a +5 on the first line, so that is going to help out a lot. Obviously, having a 99 overall player is also going to help. At the end of year number 3, the Montreal Canadiens are going to end up finishing second in the Atlantic, going 46, 29, and 7, making the playoffs for the very first time in the video. The Carolina Hurricanes are going to be the best team in the entire NHL, going 55, 23, and 4, followed by the New York Rangers, the Pittsburgh Penguins, LA was up there, Winnipeg, Colorado, Ottawa, and Montreal. We were the 8th best team in the entire NHL. At the bottom of the NHL, we have the Anaheim Ducks, the Arizona Coyotes, and the Chicago Blackhawks. Wayne Gretzky is going to lead our team in goals with 57 and points with 136, followed by Jack Hughes' 85, Cole Caulfield 70, Nick Suzuki had 62, Gurianov 55, 33 goals, Kirby Dach had 48, Drouin 47. Gretzky is obviously going to have the most goals at 57 and the most points at 136, followed by McDavid's 106, Barkov 99, Leon Draisaitl 97, Pasta 96, Crosby 96, Mark Scheifele and Johnny Hockey each had 94, and Svechnikov had 91. For goals, other than Gretzky, it was Pasta with 52, Matthews had 46, Rantanen 45, McDavid 45, Ovi 43, Kucherov at 42, Jason Robertson 41, and Nathan MacKinnon 99. What am I saying? He would have 39 goals, not 99. And the Montreal Canadiens are going to end up playing the Boston Bruins in round number 1. That matchup is definitely going to be very exciting. Montreal would actually end up making it all the way to the conference finals, but we would end up losing to the eventual Stanley Cup champion Carolina Hurricanes as they go on and beat the San Jose Sharks in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. How on earth did San Jose make the Stanley Cup final? For the playoffs, Wayne Gretzky is going to have 13 goals and 29 points, followed by Nick Suzuki's 20, Cole Caulfield 20, Jack Hughes at 19, Kirby Dach 14. Tomas Hertl is going to have the most points in the playoffs at 35. Actually, him and Marty Necas with each tie at 35, followed by Gretzky's 29, Karlsson 29, Svechnikov 27, Teuvo Teravainen 27. Wayne Gretzky is going to take home all the major individual awards, the Selke, the Ted Lindsay, the Maurice Richard, the Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy. Rasmus Dahlin is going to take home the Norris. Marty Necas is going to take home the Conn Smythe. Freddie Anderson is going to win the Vezina yet again. All right, here we go, yet again, spinning the wheel. We did not win the Stanley Cup, so let's see what we get here. And we're going to be adding a 90 or lower overall player to Montreal. So since we desperately needed a goalie, I have added Linus Ullmark to the Montreal Canadiens. He's a 90 overall goalie, so that is definitely going to help us out there. We had Montembeault in the net before that, and he's only an 82. So hopefully Linus Ullmark can perform as well as he did this season in real life with Boston. The Montreal Canadiens are yet again going to end up finishing second in the Atlantic. They will go 47, 31, and 4. Carolina is going to finish first in the entire NHL, going 53, 24, and 5. 5, followed by Vegas, New York, Tampa Bay, Calgary, and of course the Montreal Canadiens. A slight improvement on last season. We were 8th, I believe, last season. They were 6th in the entire NHL. At the bottom, we have the San Jose Sharks, the Red Wings, and the Nashville Predators. Gretzky's going to have 61 goals and 139 points, followed by Jack Hughes' 90 and 37 goals. Nick Suzuki had 64, Cole Caulfield 66, Jonathan Drouin 53, Kirby Dach was up there, Gary Anoff had a very down year. I mean, he did have 25 goals, but only 48 points. Yet again, the great one is going to lead the entire NHL in goals, this time with 61, and points with 139. I mean, nobody else is even going to crack 100 points. That is absolutely wild. Followed by Jason Robertson's 98, Alex Ovechkin had 97, McDavid 96, Hughes 90, Crosby and Draisaitl had 89, Matthew Tkachuk as well, and Alexander Barkov. For goals, other than Gretzky, it was Ovi who had 50, McDavid had 42, Kane 41, Jason Robertson had 40, the GOAT Nathan MacKinnon had 39, Cat had 39, Elias Lindholm was up there, and Kucherov with 37. Linus Ullmark is going to have 36 wins, 25 losses, 4 in overtime, 3 shutouts, an .895 save percentage, and a .318 goals against average. Those are absolutely terrible stats for a 90 overall goaltender. And yet again, the Montreal Canadiens are going to play the Boston Bruins in round number 1. We absolutely dusted them last season. Let's do the same. Montreal would end up losing to Boston in round number 1 in 5 games. It was not even close, if I'm being honest. And the Vegas Golden Knights are going to go on and win the Stanley Cup as they beat Tampa Bay in 6 games in the Stanley Cup final. For the playoffs, Jack Eichel is going to have the most points at 30, followed by Braden Points 27, Steven Stamkos 26, Stevenson had 25, Kucherov 24, Robertson 24, Breadman had 23. For goals, Chandler Stevenson is going to be tied for the most with Nikita Kucherov. They would each have 16 apiece, followed by Jack Eichel's 15, Jason Robertson 11, and Stammer 11. Wayne Gretzky is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, the Maurice Richard, the Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy, a clean sweep on all the awards. Adam Fox is going to win the Norris. Jack Eichel is going to take home the Conn Smythe. Robin Lehner is going to win the Vezina, and the Selke is going to go to Sean Couturier. All right, here we go yet again. And we are going to get a very good one here, as we are going to add the highest overall goalie in the entire NHL, which is Andrei Vasilevsky. So there you go. We have Andrei Vasilevsky on the Montreal Canadiens. He's a 94, the highest overall goalie in the game. Well, technically the highest active overall goalie, because Patrick Waugh is a 96. But we also have Linus Ullmark as our backup at a 90, so we have the best goalie tandem in the entire NHL. You already know with EA Sports Simulation, the goalies are going to have a subpar 900 save percentage. I'm willing to bet neither of these goalies are going to crack a 900 save percentage. At the end of year number 5, the Montreal Canadiens are going to end up finishing first in the Atlantic, winning 60 games. And just like that, the Montreal Canadiens are the best team in all of hockey. We would end up going 60, 16, and 6, good enough for 126 points, followed by the Colorado Avalanche, the New York Rangers, the Boston Bruins, the Buffalo Sabres, the Edmonton Oilers. But nobody in the entire NHL was better than Montreal, baby. At the bottom of the NHL, it was a two-way tie between the Anaheim Ducks and the Philadelphia Flyers. They have virtually identical records. Wayne Gretzky is going to have a bit of a down season, 47 goals and 108 points, followed by Jack Hughes, who had 92 and 29 goals, Cole Caulfield at 81 and 32 goals, Nick Suzuki had 69 points, Kirby Dach 60, Josh Anderson 56, Drouin 51. For the entire NHL, Sidney Crosby is going to have the most points at 109, followed by Wayne Gretzky's 108, Nathan MacKinnon 98, Matthews and Malkin would each have 98, Johnny Hockey 95, Pedersen 92, and Jack Hughes 92. Wait a minute, Rasmus Dahlin had 8 goals and 82 assists for 90 points on the year. For goals, Nathan MacKinnon is going to have the most at 56, followed by Matthews 54, Gretzky 47, Crosby 47, Patrick Kane 46, Kucherov 44, Bergeron had 44, Johnny Hockey 42, and Vladimir Tarasenko, the newest Ottawa Senator, is going to have 41 goals. And the Montreal Canadiens are going to play the Toronto Maple Leafs in round number 1. Somehow the 60-win Montreal Canadiens are going to lose in the first round in 6 games to Toronto, and the Carolina Hurricanes are going to go on and win the Stanley Cup as they beat Edmonton in 5 games in the Stanley Cup final. God damn, man, poor McDavid made it all the way there just to lose in 5 games. I mean, Jack Hughes and Wayne Gretzky would show up in the first round, but everybody else was pretty terrible, if I'm being honest. Vasi's going to start 6 games and he would be absolutely terrible, an .895 save percentage and a .322 goals against average. I did forget to check what he had in the regular season. He did have an overall good season, 3 shutouts, a 924 save percentage and a 231 goals against average. He did win 42 games. Sidney Crosby is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, the Art Ross, and the Hart Trophy, while Nathan MacKinnon is going to win the Maurice Richard. Rasmus Dahlin is going to take home the Norris. Vasi is going to take home the Vezina for the Montreal Canadiens. And Anze Kopitar is going to win the Selke. Alright, here we are back at the wheel, spinning it. Let's see what we get here. Hopefully something good. And just like that, we are going to add the second greatest player of all time, Mario Lemieux. So there you go. We have added Mario Lemieux to the Montreal Canadiens. He's a 96 overall, and our first line is beyond stacked. And I think we should be called the Montreal centermans at this point because we have way too many centers. Jack Hughes, Wayne Gretzky, and Mario Lemieux are all centers. Nick Suzuki as well. Our defense has not been touched whatsoever, so hopefully we can get something there. The Montreal Canadiens are going to take a slight step back this season, winning 49 games, losing 26 and 7 in overtime, good enough for second in the Atlantic. The Boston Bruins are going to be the best team in the NHL, going 50, 22, and 10, followed by the Edmonton Oilers. The Montreal Canadiens, we would end up finishing third in the entire league, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. At the bottom of the NHL, we have the Vancouver Canucks, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the New Jersey Devils. Wow. Wayne Gretzky is going to lead our team in points with 103. He would also have 43 goals, followed by Mario Lemieux's 96, Jack Hughes 89, Cole Caulfield 81, Nick Suzuki 71, Kirby Dack 63. For goals, Lemieux is going to have the most on our team with 50, followed by Gretzky's 43. Cole Caulfield had 30. Kirby Dack would have 23. Andrei Vasilevsky is going to play 59 games, going 35, 16, and 7. 3 shutouts, a 908 save percentage, and a 271 goals against average. Leon Draisaitl is going to have the most points in the NHL with 106, followed by Wayne Gretzky's 103. Connor McDavid 102. Austin Matthews had 100. Alexander Barkov 99. Kachuk 99. Jordan Kyrou was up there. Adam Fox had 14 goals and 97 points. For goals, Matthews yet again is going to have the most this time with 56, followed by the GOAT Nathan MacKinnon's 52. Mario Lemieux had 50. Alex Ovechkin 47. Tarasenko 45. Kaprizov 45. Patrick Kane 44. And of course, we cannot forget Wayne Gretzky, who had 43. Leon Draisaitl was up there as well. And Montreal is going to play the Tampa Bay Lightning in round number 1. Sadly, the Montreal Canadiens are going to lose in 6 games in the conference finals to Toronto, and the Seattle Kraken are going to go on and win their first ever Stanley Cup in franchise history after beating Toronto in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. Only Toronto could choke away a Game 7 victory against an expansion team. Mario Lemieux is going to lead our team in points for the playoffs with 22, followed by Wayne Gretzky's 19, Jack Hughes 19, Kirby Dack at 14. Ryan O'Reilly is going to lead the entire playoffs in points with 30. Actually, him and Mitch Marner were each tied at 30 apiece, followed by Johnny T's 27, William Nylander 26, Bunting 26, Burakovsky 25. Gretzky is going to take home the Ted Lindsay and the Hart Trophy, while Leon is going to take home the Art Ross, and Austin Matthews the Maurice Richard. Adam Fox with another Norris Trophy. Andrei Burakovsky is actually going to win the Conn Smythe. Jeremy Swayman is going to take home the Vezina, and the Selke is going to go home with Sid the Kid, Sidney Crosby. Hopefully we can get something for defense here because we desperately need it. And instead, we get upgrade your best player to a 99 overall, but our best player is already a 99. So instead, we will upgrade our second best player, which in this case is Mario Lemieux, up to a 99 overall to match Wayne Gretzky. And now we have 2 99s on the first line, which is absolutely wild. Cole Caulfield is the missing link there. You know what? Instead, I'm going to have Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield on the second line. Put Jack Hughes up there, so we have a 90, 99, and 99. Montreal is going to end up finishing second in the Atlantic yet again, this time going 52, 23, and 7, only behind the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs would be the best team in all of hockey, going 52, 22, and 8, followed by the Montreal Canadiens, the Calgary Flames, the New York Rangers, and the Florida Panthers. At the bottom of the NHL, we have the Chicago Blackhawks, the Arizona Coyotes, and the Red Wings. Wayne Gretzky is going to have the most points on our team with 108, followed by Mario Lemieux 102, Jack Hughes 96, Suzuki 70, Cole Caulfield 63, Josh Anderson 49. For goals, Lemieux is going to have the most at 60, followed by Gretzky's 38, Jack Hughes at 27, Gurianov at 23, and Josh Anderson 20. Andrei Vasilevsky would be our starting goalie, going 38, 17, and 5, 2 shutouts, a 914 save percentage, and a 261 goals against average. Gretzky is going to have the most points in the NHL with 108, followed by Lemieux 102, Kucherov 101, McDavid 100, Stamkos had 97, McKinnon 96, Matthews 96, Crosby 96, and Jack Hughes 96. For goals, McKinnon McKinnon is going to have the most at 62, followed by Lemieux 60, Matthews at 57, Ovi 49, McDavid 48, Stammer 48, Kucherov at 48, Marchand 47, and Giroux would have 47. Claude Giroux, baby. And the Montreal Canadiens are going to play the Florida Panthers in round number 1. And finally, the Montreal Canadiens have made the Stanley Cup final. The only problem is we are up against the greatest team of all time, the Colorado Avalanche. Can we finally go on and win a Stanley Cup? And just like that, the Montreal Canadiens have finally gone on to win the Stanley Cup as they beat the Colorado Avalanche in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. We were actually down 3-0 in the series. I have no idea how we made it all the way to Game 7 and won in Game 7, but the Montreal Canadiens have finally won the Stanley Cup yet again. Mario Lemieux is going to take home the Conn Smythe for the Montreal Canadiens. He definitely deserved it, and for the first time in over 30 years, 1993 I believe was the last time Montreal won the Stanley Cup. The Stanley Cup is coming back to Canada, and it's coming back to Montreal. And here comes the captain of the Montreal Canadiens, Nick Suzuki, coming to lift the Stanley Cup for the very first time in his career.
Comment ça va? Bonjour, je m'appelle tout.
The Montreal Canadiens are Stanley Cup winners. And he's going to pass it off to the playoff MVP, Mario Lemieux, baby. Super Mario. He was definitely a big help to the Montreal Canadiens winning the cup. Of course, we could not forget about Wayne Gretzky, the great one. He was here since like year number 1. We got him right away, and he's basically led our team in points every single season, besides like 1, I think. And finally, we got to give it off to our goalie, a 94 Andrei Vasilevsky. He held it down in the playoffs for us. There it is, boys. The Montreal Canadiens are Stanley Cup champions. For the playoffs, Lemieux would end up having 25 goals and 39 points. I guess that Conn Smythe was well deserved, followed by Wayne Gretzky's 31 points and 15 goals. Jack Hughes at 25, Gurianov 14. Austin Matthews is going to take home the Ted Lindsay. The Maurice Richard is going to go to Nathan McKinnon. The Art Ross and the Hart Trophy are both going to go to Wayne Gretzky. Cale Makar is going to take home the Norris. Lemieux obviously got the Conn Smythe. Vasi is going to win the Vezina yet again, and the Selke is going to go to Anze Kopitar of the LA Kings. And that is going to do it for this video, boys. The Montreal Canadiens are finally Stanley Cup champions yet again for the first time in over like 30 seasons. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see next, and let me know what I should add to the wheel to make things more interesting. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.